Let's first tell you the list of characters who need to be put on notice. The Yerwada police station, which did not inform the wireless control room about the accident on time. Why did they do that? The blood sample of the accused was switched at the Sassoon General Hospital. Why did that happen? The accused was initially booked for only death by negligence. Why was the police so negligent in filing that FIR? The suspect's grandfather abducted the family driver and was forcing him to take the blame. The Juvenile Justice Board gave bail with conditions like, guess what? Writing an essay and community service. What was the Juvenile Justice Board thinking about? The NCP MLA there, Sunil Thingre, allegedly put pressure on the police on the night of the accident, all because the individual is the son of a very influential, rich family with political connections in Pune and Maharashtra. I'm going to raise all the big questions, and there are several more that we will raise right through the show. Do the rich simply get away easily in cases like this? A BMW all those years ago, a Porsche now. Is the system designed to help the powerful? Is the Pune case already weakened by the manner in which it has been handled? Will Ashwini and Anish, the two young people whose lives were lost, ever get justice? These are the questions we will raise. I'm joined by Miran Chadda Borwankar. She's been a former Pune Police Commissioner, distinguished police officer. Also joining me, Vinita Deshmukh, Pune-based citizen activist, runs a group that's filed several RTIs. Rizwan Siddiqui is a criminal lawyer. Meghna Pant is a young author who joins us. Appreciate all of you joining us on the show tonight. Meera Borwankar, to you first. You're seeing the way this case is unfolding. The latest being that the head of the forensics department and a doctor in a hospital have been arrested because they were allegedly trying to manipulate the samples, the blood samples. What does that say? It seems that the rot is spreading in every angle.
Yeah, Rajdeep, it's not spreading, it has already spread. There is no doubt about it. And it started with, of course, with that youth getting drunk and mowing down to techies, but with the visit of the MLA. Which MLA would visit a police station in the middle of the night for an ordinary citizen? Point number one. Point number two, why police station was serving, as it is alleged, food around instead of registering a case of 304 initially. Later on, of course, they have added the section. Then the doctors. And case is also getting weakened because of involving too many characters. If the grandfather was forcing the driver, have we recorded his statement before the magistrate? If the peon says that the doctors have fiddled with the samples and changed the blood sample, have we recorded that peon's statement before the magistrate? So I would say that this is the sordid state of criminal justice system in India, which gets worsened by the fact that now the case will come up for trial after a decade. And I have quoted in my article in Indian Express that September 2002 case of Salman Khan was decided and acquitted in 2015 December.
But what I want to, we are listing these characters. Where, according to you, does the blame begin? The Pune Police Commissioner, Amitesh Kumar, has said no one will be spared. And he has been open about it, and he said, look, we are arresting everyone who has been involved in the corruption, in the cover-up. Whether it is the grandfather, whether it is the father, whether it is the doctors, we will act against the police officers. Where do you think the problem starts? Is it with the local police station, where it was easy for a politician to go in the night and influence them? Where is the problem? Is it a systemic problem, or is it particular to this case?
Systemic, of course, but first with the family that gave the car keys to this drunk youth whom they cannot manage. And secondly, yes, the police station and the politician, they influence each and every wing of governance. So I would say family first, then the police station and the politician. And for doctors and all, you keep increasing the characters involved, but investigation must also be of very high quality, recording statements before the magistrates and going in for a special prosecutor.
I'll come to what can be done now in a moment. And Rizwan Siddiqui, as you heard from Miran Jadda Borwankar, she cited Salman Khan's case, said it took 13 years. And we've seen even in previous cases, especially in such cases, it's very easy to use this length of time to manipulate evidence, to fudge forensic samples, and the accused can get away. Where is the legal system simply unable or unwilling to take on such powerful individuals?
See, I'll divide this into various different parts. Let's talk about there is a criminal justice system, there is a law enforcement agency, then there is an accused party, and then there is an aggrieved party. So let us divide this into different systems. First and foremost, what I see in this particular case is that the evidence was brought out through investigative journalism. The police miserably failed, or rather intentionally compromised. I would rather use the word intentionally compromised the whole case right from the very beginning. And I will not even mince words. I will use the words that the intent of the police department, whether under influence or on its own, was clearly established and clearly seen from the point where, the incident took place. The registration of the FIR took a lot of time. The collection of the sample, the blood sample was taken, urine was never taken. Then, comes another blood sampling taken after 11 hours or 12 hours, food being given to the person to dilute his entire alcohol content. Then after that, the doctors throwing the blood report in the dustbin. So everything is intentional. Everything is with a criminal mind. So everybody in the forget the judicial system.
No, but has the case, Rizwan, as a result been weakened already? Because when this case comes up for prosecution, has the case already got weakened?
No, as a trial lawyer, come to that also. So, all of you as investigative journalists are playing a superb role in the delivery of justice here. On the one side, we have a very powerful family who are trying to control the system, who are trying to corrupt the system, who are trying to ensure that justice should not be delivered. On the other side, we have the media who's bringing out all the evidences. And even though the evidence is destroyed by the police to ensure that the accused gets away scot-free, nonetheless, even in the absence of all these evidences which were destroyed, there is something called presumption of fact. There is something called other evidences. So everything that you have collected is good enough to nail an accused. Is good enough to nail an accused.
But it could take a decade, right? But it could take a decade.
No, I'll tell you what. Now we'll come to that part also. So when we're talking about Salman Khan's case, at that time there were the internet and the media and the the footprints on social media were not that powerful. Unfortunately, at that time it was not powerful. But fortunately for now, things can't get away that easily as compared to what it used to be, what it used to happen about 15, 20 or maybe 25 years ago. Things are different now. Now everybody has become accountable. Everybody has footprints, on the internet, on social media. So everybody is being tracked. Everybody is accountable. And the media and the investigative journalism.
I take your point, Rizwan, but the worry, Vinita, that Deshmukh, that I have is that, look, there's a lot of outrage in Pune, outside Pune. It's being tracked very closely. As Rizwan says, it's a new world. Social media is all over the place. But there will come a time when the case will go off the headlines. In a week from now, India will be obsessed, or national media will be obsessed, ki kaun jeetega 2024. And people may well forget this particular case. Is that a worry that cases like this outrage that the middle class, particularly in Pune, is showing will not last?
So this question is not for me.
Vinita?
Yes, Rajdeep, definitely. In fact, I should tell. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Can you? Okay. So, good evening to you. Right. So, Pune, you're right that, the case might become weak after we are obsessed with the June 4 and thereafter, and otherwise also, because let me give you a chronology. The first story that I wrote about this pub distress was in 2000, where there were just 3-4 pubs, 10 Downing Street in the high-profile boat club area, and there was violence. Thereafter, in 2010, I sent my reporters with a timed camera, and we had these pubs till 5 a.m. in the morning. From 2010, we have come to 2024. And now we have nearly 65 to 70 pubs in elite residential neighborhoods. And the worst part is that under the nose of the Pune Police, the Pune Municipal Corporation, the Excise Department, these pubs create a racket. The time limit is 1:30. They go on till 5 a.m. You have loud music, you have rooftop pubs, you have youngsters, teenagers basically. Much of them are teenagers. They are served booze and they create rackets, screeching with their motorcycles, puking, vomiting, brawls. This is what is going on, which is so abnormal.
You're saying the pubs are open till 5 a.m.?
And yet you had the...
You're saying the pubs are open till 5 a.m.?
Yes, they're open till 5 a.m. That's right. In 2010, when I sent my reporter with the timed camera, 4:15 a.m., 4:32 a.m., we have all recorded it, and since then it has not changed. And there is drugs, you have injections, needles thrown all over the footpath, urination. I mean, it is such a huge commotion.
Can I just stop you for a moment? Can I stop you for a moment to get... Can I stop you for a moment? Because Meghna, you're hearing what is being said by Vinita, that look, there is this pub culture in Pune. Now, the pub culture needs better policing. There's nothing wrong in a pub culture. You know, as across the world there are pubs. But it seems that the pubs are completely unregulated in some parts of the country. You will have very little policing at 2 a.m. in the morning, and therefore maybe the young believe they can get away. Is there a sense that the rich, young believe they can get away in the big metros today because they've got their dad's money?
I think, Rajdeep, all the panelists have made excellent points. And I think this case has really opened up a Pandora's box and, to all that the rot that exists in our system, from the judiciary to the police, to the medical fraternity, to the service industry, to the rich of India, to the young of India. I think it covers all the systemic failures that our country needs to improve from. It's also, this 1970s playbook that's almost seems to be playing out in this particular case of this, Shehzada, who's for some reason being pampered by the processes in the system instead of being penalized for his actions. But I'll also tell you this, Rajdeep, that the young of India, the youth of India no longer believe in the cancel culture. They believe in the consequence culture, which means there will be consequences to this case. As you said yourself, the trial by media is very strong. We all are leaving footprints on social media. We're being watched more than we know. So it's not easy to act like you're infallible, that you're untouchable, even if you come with great power or great money or great connections. I think now there is a cautionary tale that this case in particular can be made into to show India that from the judiciary to the familial level.
But is this drink and driving culture normalized, or do you believe that this is a delinquent individual who does not represent a majority of the young?
I think, Rajdeep, what I have seen as the young of today are very responsible. They have so much exposure, they have so much awareness. And I'll give you the case of Mumbai, in which I live. The fact is that after the drink, the police have become very strict. The rules have become very strict. So people themselves, you see it in the last 10 years, there is so much responsible driving that is going on. Nobody gets into a car anymore and drinks and drives. And we've all at an individual level change because there is a fear of the system. There is a real fear that we will get arrested no matter where we come from. That fear of the law is missing in other parts of India, and that's what really needs to change, and only the legal system can be at the forefront of that.
Can I bring in Miran Chadda Borwankar on that? Miran Chadda Borwankar, I know about Mumbai. I've seen it with my friends. They're very conscious now that if they have a drink, late night drink, they don't drive. Do you believe there's fear of the law? Or do you believe, as I said, is this individual an aberration who believed because his father had all this money to splurge and he was given a chance to drive a sports car at the age of 17, he could just get away and do what he wanted? Do you believe there is fear of the law?
Not at all.
There's
I
no
don't
fear.
agree with Megha. No, I feel the main issue in the country is that nobody is afraid of law and everyone is very confident. Arey case lagega na 10 saal baad tab dekh lenge. How long will you pursue it? How long will I pursue it? Therefore, investigation of a very high standard led by a prosecutor of an equally high standard and immediate trial. I am saying don't start the trial tomorrow itself, but say 2025, we should end with the trial and give a message to the country that law exists. And you better be afraid of law in case you are doing drunken driving. But no, there is no fear of law in the country.
No, is there no fear of the law, or is it the policing which is weakened? I mean, we do see more nakabandi, for example, today in Mumbai than I used to see 10 years ago when it comes to people at midnight being checked for whether they're drinking and driving. But you're still saying there's no fear of the law. Is that because of weakened policing?
Weekend policing also led by the politicians who interfere in every small thing, from transferring or positioning a senior inspector in the police station, PI crime, the crime detection staff. Everyone is posted. The merit is not the criteria. Mera banda, mera admi, that is the criteria, and therefore both.
You know,
Weak policing
you're
and
hitting,
tremendous interference by the politicians.
you know, you're saying the very important point of tremendous interference by politicians. Rizwan, you know, this is coming out in this case very clearly. What the hell was an NCP MLA doing at late in the night to go to the police station? And for at least 24 hours after this incident happened, there seemed to be an attempt being made by the fact that this person's father was influential, that the police were under pressure, according to sources, from the politicians of Pune and Mumbai. So it's the politicians who the VIP father was using his influence with politicians, the political connections. The police are pawns.
See, I'll tell you what, Mr. Rajdeep, I have a little different take on this. See, in this case, we do see a politician being involved. We do see that everything was compromised, right from the police officers to the doctors to the CCTV footage. You know, everything that they could do, they have done to destroy the case, to ensure that the man gets away absolutely
But they
untouched.
couldn't have done it. Was it just money or political power?
Yes, of course, of course. I will see. Their politicians are involved. You know, as a matter of fact, politicians require these rich people. The rich people require politicians. So there is always a nexus between the rich and the political parties. So I will not get into that part. You know, what I'm trying to see is that how this entire incident from a case can become a cause, and how the media can use this as an opportunity so that things in the future are addressed a little better. So my focus is on the point is that this case should be used as an example to set everything into motion the way it's supposed to be. Like, for example, right from expediting the entire process of the trial.
Can you have a fast track trial? Can you believe this one? Can you
Yes.
have a trial on this case within a year?
Absolutely.
Is it possible?
Absolutely. Why not? See, I'll tell you what. It is all about going to the court. It is all about, see, sometimes what happens is that an ordinary person would debate. An ordinary person would discuss within the four corners of the room. But sometimes they do not take legal advice. So the issue is that while I'm also here on the debate right now, but I have a different take on the entire thing. I don't see this as a case anymore. I see this as a cause. I mean, a case will have definitely come to its own logical conclusion. The way once the trial starts will lead, you have evidences. Let us take this as an opportunity as a media house, as a strong voice, as a voice of the public, as a voice of a general public, and take this forward so that others learn a lesson.
No, but
from this.
I take your point that you're saying don't treat it as a case, as a cause. But Vinita Deshmukh, you know Pune better than anyone else. There is a clear nexus in Pune between the police, between the real estate, the real estate dons of Pune, as well as the political class. So when you've got someone who has control on all these three wings, it's not easy. They will at some stage or the other try and dilute the case. The media cannot focus on this case night after night for 365 days.
Absolutely. This case, you have to have the background of Pune to know this case. The thing is that in the last decade or so, the builders have become the biggest lobbies. I mean, 3-4 years back, a builder's, I think Shroff builder's daughter in her Mercedes, she just would out some 4-5 people on the divider. What's happened to that case? It happened in Pune. And they may not be a hue and cry like this, but of course the media did portray it. The problem is the builders have become so powerful because illegal constructions, even on floodlines, illegal buildings, you name it, you have to come to Pune and see the clutter of the concrete jungle. So they are in nexus with politicians. Sunil Tingre, who not only was there at the police station, but he has also recommended that Dr. Taure, who was suspended and all kinds of bad record, that he be brought back as the head of the forensic department. I mean, that's the kind of power he has. He's in the Ajit Pawar faction. And today, another political party member was alleging that Ajit Pawar also gave a call. Now, I won't be surprised. So there is a nexus between the builders, the police, the excise department and the Pune municipal administration. And all that they do is that if the residents raise a hue and cry, which they've been doing for 3 years, and after that, in Koregaon Park, every lane has more than 6 pubs. Okay, so nothing happens because that 160, and where are all the corporators? Where are the MLAs? They talk about youth and they come bragging when they want to get votes. Where are they to save the youth of the city? And do you know, Rajdeep, it's a trend in Pune. The rich people, builders and politicians, teenage children drive super rich imported cars, where maybe not without registration, but without license, and their fathers pamper them. I know a case or 2. So after everything dies down, after 10 days, the media, of course, the newspapers have printed everybody's names and not the builder's name, because they are going to have a arrangement of getting more advertisements, and life will go on. And the teenagers, Pune is an educational city, and you have more than 5 lakh students coming here from all the country. Now, you know, one more thing. Do you know that in the afternoons, evenings, it is 9 standard students, 10 standard students who you see having parties in these pubs? How are they allowed? I mean, this such criminalization is going on because the state government wants
Okay, let me stop you for a moment.
Wants to become richer at...
let me stop you because you should, the teenager's father, Vishal Agarwal, who's a realtor, has been arrested. His grandfather, Surendra Agarwal, is also facing the law. So, I mean, hopefully, at least now, because of the outrage, there is an attempt being made to ensure name and shame and ensure that they get arrested. But Meghna Pan, you started this show by saying, look, Mumbaikars are fearful of the law. Miran Chadda Borwankar said, sorry, Meghna, they are not. They still believe they can get away. You want to you want to maybe change your mind, or are you really convinced that the young are fearful of the law? Especially the rich and influential. Remember, most young Indians are not rich and influential. The ones who are rich and influential believe they can get away.
In fact, Rajdeep, what I'm saying is that this case is underscoring the societal decay that has taken place, and only a fear of the law, like we see in a city like Mumbai, will change the system. The fact is, this boy, his family has set him up for failure, and every step of the way, they have told him that you will not be vilified, you will not be condemned. Instead, they're condoning his action. Has they even had the humanity to render an apology to the victim's family? No, instead they're sitting and tampering with evidence. They are kidnapping, there's forging, there's so much chaos, and they think they can get away with it. And that's what we need to change. That's what young India wants to see, and nobody's going to keep quiet about it. Trust me, we're seeing this in the US. The Juvenile Justice Act in India has been manipulated and distorted, that even the worst criminals, like in the case we saw in Shakti Mills or in the Nirbhaya case, the juveniles were the ones who inflicted the most horrors, but they're roaming scot-free amongst us, planning their next crime. So the
you're saying that the young today want people to bear the consequences for the mistakes they make. That's the majority. They don't want the rich to get away. Miran Chadda Borwankar, is that a sliver of hope there? That maybe, with police officers, not every police officer will be bullied by the politician. There are good police officers, there are good media persons, there are good citizens out there.
Yes, I do see a silver line, but still I would like to highlight delay in trials and corruption. We had thought if you change a political party, we may be able to arrest that corruption. But today, the Anti-Corruption Bureau of Maharashtra, it's headless. So if you don't have very strict policies as far as integrity is concerned, I don't think that silver line will be there. So integrity and seeing that political, police, bureaucratic nexus is abolished. Those are the 2-3 things I feel we should follow.
Okay, Rizwan, I will let you end but before that, ask you a question. Would you take up the case for the Agarwal family if they come to you and say, Rizwan, we'll pay you 10 lakhs a day, just get our son off the hook? Will you take the case up? Be honest.
Absolutely not. I've been getting cases which were even worse than this, fake rape cases against top bureaucrats and against top, you can say, industrialists of the country. But I will never do that. Fortunately for me, I'm in this profession not for money, because I love it. I already come from an influential family and a fluent family where money was never a problem. So for me, this is something that is passion. And I pursue my professional activity as a passionate lawyer, not for money. But nonetheless, let me just tell you something. Rajdeep, I'm so happy that the media is taking this up, for a simple reason that there is going to be corruption even in the judiciary level. Forget the law enforcement agencies, forget at the government level, forget politicians. I'm talking about even in the judiciary level. Judiciary level is, when the Supreme Court Chief Justice of India said that judges do not fall from the sky, he was indicating that corruption is even there.
So you're saying at the lower courts in particular, in a high profile case like this, a judge can be bribed? Is that what you're saying?
I will, in very clear words, without mincing words, I will say judiciary also faces a lot of corruption. There is corruption everywhere at every level. It is for people like you and me who need to bring it out. We need to have no fear. We have to have no fear, and we can only do it when we don't chase money.
Okay, let me leave it there. Yeah. Let me leave it there. As I said, in the midst of elections, where every day, night after night, we focus on kaun jeetega 2024, 400 par, or will the Congress regain ground? The truth is, we need to ensure that justice is done, so that exemplary punishment is given to this individual who has committed the most horrifying crime. And we believe it is not negligence, it is willful, and therefore the entire system and those who've tried to protect him must also be punished. Unless you have exemplary punishment in cases like this, sadly, there will be more such cases. I appreciate all my guests joining me here on my top talking point tonight.